What's going on, Battlefielders? I've got another fun loadout for you today. This one's for all you recon players who want to play as a SWAT team sniper. I recently watched the little movie SWAT Firefight from 2011, which gave me the great idea of creating this class. That was quite a small scale movie that wasn't too popular, but it does feature quite an amazing arsenal. But I've got to say that the procedures and some of the tactics employed in the movie are a bit ridiculous and completely unrealistic. But it's definitely worth getting hold of if you haven't seen it already. It's meant to be a sequel to the 2003 movie SWAT, the one that starred Samuel L. Jackson, Colin Farrell and Michelle Rodriguez. This one doesn't have any major stars in it except for Robert Patrick, but it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you're wanting to play around with this SWAT Firefight inspired loadout for Battlefield 4. So let's get started and take a look at the weapon setup so you can see what this loadout's all about. So there was an amazing selection of weapons in that movie. One of them in particular, the ACR, tempted me to create a basic SWAT team loadout, but I decided to go with the SWAT sniper loadout to feature the 338 Recon, which is a cool sniper rifle that we've got in Battlefield 4, which is also featured in the movie. Now I can see those comments coming in already with people moaning that the 338 Recon, or the Desert Tactical Arms Stealth Recon Scout as it's otherwise known as, isn't used in real life by SWAT team snipers. But you've got to remember that that's the whole point of this series now, where I'm using these movie themes. Back in the days of Battlefield 3, I was sick of seeing comments from people arguing over what weapons should have been used. In reality, there's all kinds of weapons that each force uses, so I thought that basing them on movies would give us some kind of reference material, and I could cite reasons for each equipment choice. This weapon's clearly used in the movie, as you can see by these clips, so that's the weapon I've chosen for our SWAT sniper loadout for Battlefield 4. It also gives us an excuse to use cool weapons like this. The 338 Recon is quite unique in that it's a bullpup sniper rifle. That feature alone makes it one that I quite fancy playing around with. Setup wise, we're going to go with the plain old rifle scope as the optic for that 8x magnification. Then while the movie version is pretty much stock, we're at least going to go with the variable zoom for the accessory, just to fill out one of those attachment slots, but leave the standard barrel. But there's one attachment that does match the movie setup, and that's the bipod. The 6-hour P226 is used by all SWAT team members in the movie, so we'll go with that for our secondary weapon. And yet again, we're going to leave this as stock, so leave the default iron sights, no accessory, and leave the standard barrel. I guess I could have modified that slightly to make it a little bit more interesting and maybe used a flashlight under the accessory, but if you want to stay true to the movie setup, then leave it entirely stock. But to finish off this SWAT sniper loadout, there's some quite interesting choices that I gathered from watching the movie. So first up, we'll go with the Flashbang Grenade, which is seen in quite a few scenes throughout the movie. At least now in Battlefield 4, this thing's had a buff, so it's a little bit more usable than it was when the game first launched. The Sniper Field Upgrade is the obvious choice. This will grant us those useful sniper-related benefits. But there's one option that I thought was a really good fit for this loadout that matched the SWAT Firefight movie perfectly, and that is the Chinese transport vehicle, the ZFB-05, which, despite being a weird looking transport vehicle for the Chinese side in Battlefield 4, it's an almost identical match to the Detroit Police's SWAT team truck in the movie. So if you and your buddies want to really get into character and play around with this SWAT team inspired loadout, and you just happen to be on the Chinese side of a match all hanging around the spawn, then keep an eye out for this thing so you can go charging into battle. The bonus item that I've chosen for this loadout also ties into this weird vehicle too. By default, it's got some quite ugly camouflage that's applied to it, but if you set up the flat urban option under your character customization, then this truck will be given that dark grey paint job, which is one step closer to replicating that truck from the movie. All it really needs then is some red and blue lights, but I guess for that one we'll have to wait and see if DICE end up producing a police-themed Battlefield sequel. So I definitely recommend checking out that SWAT Firefight movie if you haven't seen it already. It definitely helps get you into character if you want to play around with this SWAT sniper loadout. If you do have some fun with it, or if you just enjoyed my video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up just to help spread the word and give my videos a little bit more widespread exposure. Don't forget, if you want to check out more of these movie-themed loadouts, there's a link in the description to the playlist of all the episodes that I've posted already. While you're in there, you'll also find my links to Twitter and Facebook, so you can come and say hello, get sneak peeks on the movies I'm watching and loadouts I'm creating next. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.